I'm going to tell you the true prices of Russian apartments or kvartiras. This video is going to be absolutely educational. Today I'm going to show you advertisements for apartments. I'm going to give you their prices in rubles and their prices in dollars. You're going to get to decide whether it's worth it or not. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of people come from the West and they think that, well, I have this much money, $30,000, $40,000, what can I get? I live in a town in Siberia. It is September and it's a beautiful sunny afternoon. You can see the background behind me is pretty ordinary, but we're gonna go and around the town to look at these apartments. You're gonna get to decide which one's worth it. We're gonna start off by looking at the outside of this apartment. Now this one has 2 rooms, it's 34 square meters, it's on the 2nd floor. It cost $1,900,000 or $23,750. Again, this is on the 2nd floor. It has 2 rooms, but it's 34 square meters. This is pretty small. And now I'm gonna show you what it looks like around the building. And this is the cheapest one that we're gonna look at today. Before we look at the advertisement online, let's look at what it looks like outside. This is the entrance of the building. These buildings were made in the 1960s, I believe. We'll look at it later. And here to the right, you can see they have these sheds next to the apartments where people store a lot of their excess stuff. And there's a whole field right in front of it. But again, this is 1.9 million rubles. On the outside of this apartment building, they have a nice sidewalk area that they built last year. And they have an asphalt road here. This is probably 1 year old. And now it's time to look at the advertisement online to learn more things about it. Here is the advertisement that they have online. All of these advertisements I look on Avito. This is actually where I bought my property. Of course, there's fake advertisements. Let's get that out of the way, but these are certified. Now you can see it has 2 rooms, 34 square meters for 1.9 million. Now it's time to look at the photos that they post themselves to see how it looks like inside, because some of these people obviously post what their apartments look like inside. Here is the interior. It looks like a kitchen bathroom. It's in pretty rough shape. As you can see, it's not really built up inside. The floor is wooden, the walls are cracked. Even it looks like there's a lot of mold, perhaps, a lot of rust. A lot of work to do inside, actually. This is the entrance. This is the stairway because it's on the 2nd floor. And they're showing you guys the outside. This is the view in front. And this is the view from the window. There is a park, a stadium rather, outside. And this is actually a recent photo because that asphalt is something that I mentioned that they have. They have a small little park for kids, and that looks like everything. Again, that apartment was roughly $24,000. Always leave in the comment section whether you think it's worth it or not, and let's continue. This is where it gets very interesting because there's a drastic change in price, but this next apartment is the same size as the previous one, 34 square meters. The apartment that's for sale is on the 3rd floor. It costs 3,200,000 rubles or $40,000. Isn't that a huge jump in price? Now we're gonna do a quick look around and then you're gonna decide, is it worth it for that price or not? Then we're gonna look at that advertisement. We're gonna take a quick drive around it so you get an idea of what it looks like. Now this is a newer style apartment compared to the first one, but I think that the price difference is not worth it. A lot of you guys might disagree with me. That's just my opinion. Now before we look at that advertisement, this is what the front of the apartments look like. The majority of the apartments that you're gonna find in Russia, and especially small towns, are gonna have these gardens in the front. And well, you tell me, is it beautiful or not? And now let's look at that advertisement. The reason why I think that this is not justified, the big jump in price, is because it's a 1-room apartment and essentially it's a big kitchen connected to a living room. And they only have 4 photos to show, but here they are. Here's the living room where it has a couch that folds into a bed, a small closet there, And it's just all photos of the same room, as you can see, and the kitchen is next door. So it's mostly a kitchen that's connected with the living room, and in my opinion, it's just not worth it. It's the same size as the previous apartment. It's just that the shape of it is horrendous in my opinion. But again, it's up to you guys to decide, is the price worth it? This apartment is going to cost you 3,700,000 rubles or $46,250. It is located on the first floor, and they have made some repairs to this building. But again, now it's time to look at the advertisement for this building. Let's go. One of the most important things when buying a new kvartira for yourself, well, new for you, is checking what the material is made of. Here, it's block, and the year that it's made is 1986. Now, the previous apartments that I showed were made in the 1960s, but always do look, because on these websites, they do let you know the material and when it was made. And here is the interior of this apartment. The kitchen is pretty nice size. Against other Russian kitchens, it's pretty nice. Russians don't really know how to make kitchens in kvartiras. Now, I'm gonna say that there's a bathroom behind there. There it is. Nice shower. Here's one of the rooms on the smaller side. But this kvartira is a little bit over 40 square meters anyways. It's not so big. It's definitely looking like a nicer interior than the other one, the first one that we saw. And that's going to be all the photos. Now, again, you have to comment down below if this is something that you would be interested in buying. Remember, not everybody who comes to Russia ends up moving to Moscow or St. Petersburg. This is essentially what the apartments look like in a small town. I think it's important to do an honorable mention and show you just how beautiful and modern and expensive the apartments are somewhere in Moscow. Now, this is going to be a one-off. I'm only going to do this once. So let's get into an advertisement for an apartment in Moscow. Now, from this advertisement, we can see that it's a 3-room apartment, 115 square meters. It's 12th floor of 23. It's going to cost 63 million rubles or $787,500. Now, again, it's totally up to you guys to tell me if you think it's worth it. A lot of people who have the money will say, hey, it's worth it. As long as I get out of the country where I'm from, I want to live in Moscow. This is all of the information that you need about the apartment. We're not going to go over it because let's look at the photos. I think that the photos is going to make or break this option, guys. This is in Moscow. This is over $750,000 on these new apartments. You can't really bargain with them. The price is set for the square meter. Here is the interior of the apartment. It looks like it's brand new because it is. I'm gonna guess that they're going to sell it furnished, okay? A lot of the apartments in Russia, when they're sold, if they say they will give you what's inside, that's what they're selling. So you have to understand that the price is not for a bare apartment. Look how beautiful the ceiling is, the floor, everything's brand new. The balcony has a glass so you can look outside and be safe. The kitchen is modern, everything. And you know, this new apartment, you can see that they understand the dining table and a kitchen. I mentioned previously that they don't know how to make kitchens in Russia. Even this one's not the best, but it's a lot better. The bathroom, very modern. Washing machine has its own place there. It has a bidet next to the toilet. Very, very fancy. Here's one of the rooms there. More balcony view. Very modern. There's nothing that would say that, hey, it's not gonna, this is not old, right? You know that you're paying for something brand new. It has a built-in closet there. Another bathroom with a shower. Everything, full bathroom there. This is the lobby outside for the elevators. This is the bottom floor lobby. I guess you can have a parking spot in the under the apartment building. Here is the entrance, and that is the building. Overall, I would say, hey, I think that it's not worth $750,000, but this location that you're gonna see is absolutely prime location. I think that if you want anything closer than the second ring, I'm not sure what this is, second, third. I mean, there's one, two, three, but the closer you are, the more expensive it's gonna be. And this one is close to two metro stations here. This M means metro, and you can go into the center of the city pretty fast. I would say again, it's in a prime location because it's not in the absolute outside. Now, again, the entire video I've been asking you guys, is it worth it? If you had the money, would you do it? Let me know down in the comments section. Please also do make sure to subscribe and like the video and maybe share it with someone who's interested in knowing about Russia. Maybe they want to move out of whatever country they're watching from. This is obviously an option because we're next to Lake Baikal. This is a beach town essentially in the summer, and it's a fantastic place to have maybe a summer home in or a summer apartment. So please do make sure to support the channel if you've watched this far, and let's continue. And in the building behind me, you can get a 3-room, 54 square meter kvartira that's on the first floor for 4,700,000 rubles or $58,750. Now, this building, like another one that was previously shown, is actually located on Ulica Lenina, and that means that Lenina being the main street, you're gonna see a lot of the traffic coming by the town. So these apartments will be hit with noise, dirt, and a constant traffic. And now it's time again to go look at the advertisement, because a lot of these apartments, as you've already noticed, look way better on the inside than they do on the outside. In this advertisement, you can see it says selling a 3-room apartment in good condition. The apartment has undergone cosmetic repairs. There is a storage room. Selling due to moving to another city. Bargaining. So the prices that I've mentioned, they're not always going to be the final price, right? Because some of these people want to leave this town, maybe move to another city, maybe they are in debt, and you always have to read what they're writing in the description because you can sometimes find a very good deal. Here is the interior on this one. I like that the ceiling and the walls look great. The doors look well maintained. This is one of the rooms here. Even the ceiling is pretty high on this. The walls are beautiful. The floor, everything looks just well taken care of. This is another room, and it looks like that's going to be it. That's all the photos they have. But in my opinion, already you see that that price jump means that, hey, it's a little bit better maintained, and it's well taken care of. Now, they are bargaining. I would pay maybe 4 million, 4.2 million, but not the asking price. By now, the kvartira here on the first floor is worth more than 3 times than the first kvartira that we showed you in the beginning of this video. This kvartira costs 6 million rubles or $75,000. Who has $75,000 to come to Russia to move to a small town? This kvartira has 3 rooms and it has 77 square meters inside. Now it's time to look at the advertisement online. Now for this apartment, this is a great example of when I'm telling you guys, you can check, okay, it's made of brick, but it's made in 1958. That means that this apartment is probably going to be in worse condition than the newer buildings. It's just coming with age. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that if it's built in the 1950s, it's probably rotting away somewhere. And this is what the interior looks like. This is the bathroom. Now, this is not uncommon. They do this a lot in Russia where they just isolate the toilet. This is the walls. The ceiling, it looks good. The walls look good. The floors are looking good. Okay, this is a much bigger apartment than we're used to looking. Here you can see there's all sorts of designs on the walls. Russians love their wallpaper. This is another room here, nice computer desk. Looks spacious. This is the bathroom. There's the washing machine. Here is a larger living room. The living room area can back up as a room. They have a personal gym inside. Now, the biggest difference you can see as we're going through this is that actually this apartment is in much better condition than the other ones, right? There's the kitchen area there. Here is the entire kitchen countertop. It looks very modern. And a window in the kitchen. Now, guys, comment below. Remember, is it worth it? I've shown you the price, but it's up to you to decide, is this something that you would be interested in paying? Moving to a small town far away from Moscow. I purposely chose one of these apartments to be worth this much. This one's going to be worth 6,750,000 rubles. I purposely chose this because some of you guys actually have that amount of money. Now, this in dollars is $84,375. This room is on the 3rd floor. It has 4 rooms and it's 89 square meters. I'm going to show you what it looks like around because in my opinion, I would not pay almost $90,000 to be situated in a place like this. This apartment is located one street behind the main road, and this building on the outside is not in the best condition, but you can still see that the apartments next to it might be in worse condition. I don't see a lot of things around. There's no stores, maybe an elementary store about 10 minutes walking away from here, and that is it. Not worth, in my opinion, but this video is made for you guys, so you guys tell me if it's worth it for you. Now it's time to look at the advertisement. This being the most expensive one on this video, guys, you can see it has 2 balconies. Windows look over 3 sides. It's next to the center, 50 meters from a bus stop. It has so much information here for you guys to read, and it is negotiable if it's in cash. Now remember, this is made of brick. This is actually a very good material, brick. And one of the most important things is that it's actually built in the 1990s. Now that is probably the most modern building that we've seen, right? Because the other ones went from the 80s, the other ones were from the 1950s. It's such a different era. This is the 1990s. Now it's time to see what it looks like inside. The photos on this one are a little bit bad. I mean, I'm bummed out about it, but you do get the sense that, guys, this is a big apartment. It's almost 90 square meters. Some houses are not even 90 square meters, and here's this apartment. Here's the view from the top. The photos were taken in winter, so it looks absolutely devastated outside. Kitchen, which could do so much better, but it's basically a starter kit for a kitchen. The kitchen, you could actually put a normal table there. Here is a living room or a room. Hallway. Here's another empty room. The rooms here, I think it was 4. So you do have a lot of space for building this apartment to however you want. I personally would not want this apartment. It's too big for me anyways. But a lot of people do need the extra space. So these are just the windows that they're showing you the different views and more photos of the same room. Guys, the advertisements in Russia are not the best. They're trying to sell apartments, but these are not the best pictures or the best job that you can do if you're trying to sell something. But give me your opinion. This was the most expensive. This was $84,000. Now you can obviously negotiate with them. A lot of these apartments are not worth their money. I think that the most worth for their money are probably the early ones, the ones that don't go over $50,000, because there you can negotiate a little bit and actually build the apartment of your dreams if you have a small family. I am so curious. I'm wondering, are my subscribers the type that want to live in a town like this, my town, and I've showed you the kind of apartments that exist here? Or are my subscribers the kind of people that want to live in St. Petersburg, in high-rise apartments, or in a big house outside of Moscow? Let me know. You've been watching this video this long. I want to say thanks again for supporting this channel. Thank you so much. If you've shared this video, if you've put like, and if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the community. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to look at more videos, well, consider looking at some videos that I've already posted. Thanks again for everyone who's been here with me. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, guys.